Well, hello everybody. Tonight I am going to be working on my Chrysler 3.0. It's a Dodge Caravan, and I've got a belt issue. Actually, what I'm going to be doing is tearing the whole front end of this off. I got to put a new seal on the bottom of the crankshaft that's been leaking. But I've got another problem here. I wanted to show you how easy. It's pretty easy to fix. I know a lot of people see this and they dread it. If you look closely down there, you'll see a pulley. That pulley there is going sideways. That is the tensioner. The V-belt tensioner. If I shine my light over camera over here, right there, that pulley there, see how that belt's slipping off there? Well, these Caravans, they do that, especially the 3.0s. Now, I don't know about the 3.3s, how they're set up, but this one here is not too bad to fix. But you can see that belt's ready to come off there, and that pulley has completely turned sideways, and it's squeaking all the time. So if you have a belt that's squeaking all the time, more than likely that tensioner down there, that pulley is going sideways and causing friction. And I'm going to go underneath of the car and give you an idea. You can see that power steering here. See how that belt's already slipped off there? The whole thing's gone sideways. So I'm going to have to go ahead and pull this off here tonight and fix it. It's not an easy, it's not too hard to fix, but you do need a couple things, some tools and a couple sockets and a 15 wrench. And like I said, my seal's been leaking, and there it is. And you can see the oil kind of dripping out of there. I was hoping it was a valve pan, but I've tightened it up, and it's tight as it can be. It's the seal, and that seal is very little. I mean, I couldn't believe how small it was. I picked it up today, and I'll show you really quick what it looks like. It's in the car here. It's a very tiny little seal. I was surprised how small it was when I got it. I thought seal would be a lot bigger, and it was only $6 or $7 at the parts store, and there it is. It's kind of small. I need to replace that seal, that crank. It's got a leak, and might as well do it right. So I'm going to go ahead and change this pulley out here, this tensioner, show you how to do it. It's pretty easy to do. The first thing you got to do is go ahead and take the belt off. Well, all I like to do, I got a 15 wrench, and if you see right there where that pulley is, that nut is on that pulley, where the tensioner is there, see it right there? Just kind of put that wrench on there, and if you push down that belt, it loosens that belt, and it'll come right off. So I'm going to have to set the camera down here, and maybe you can see me do this. So I'm going to push down on it. I usually slip it off on this pulley right there, and there it's off, which is probably the easiest thing I'll get to do tonight. Everything else I'm sure will be a pain in the ass. So the belt's off there, and I'm going to show you real quick. There's the guy I'm going to be taking off, which is right there, if you can see that. Now the bearings are okay. The whole thing is gone sideways. So once I've got this belt out of the way, push down. Next thing I got to do is start taking this alternator off. There's 2 bolts. I'm going to go ahead and hook the battery real quick so there's no issue with electrical sparks or anything. And we'll go ahead and take that off real quick. Alright, before we take the alternator off, we got to take this fuel line off to get it out of the way. The bolt from the back side, I've already got it loose. And we'll just kind of set this off to the side. There was no pressure on it. And unhook the little map sensor plug. Pull that out of the way. Because eventually I'm going to have to take all this other stuff off anyway to get into the front seal cover and everything. Oh, and one other quick thing is I went to the parts store today, tried to get some marking paint. Of course, nobody knew what I was talking about. You know, the marking paint you buy you see guys use a junkyard to mark stuff with. Well, I bought some fingernail polish today. It is got hardener already in it. I'm going to use it to mark my timing marks and all that good stuff. So that's a good idea that you do that. And just so you know, it makes life a little bit easier. But that's something I'll be doing later. So I got the fuel line off. Now I got to go over here. There's 2 bolts on this alternator. There's one right there, and there's one right back here on the other side. Now where my hand is, you can put your hand back there. You can feel it. It's real easy. It's right in front of the alternator there, and it is I believe it's a 15 socket. Let me grab my socket here real quick. Try to make this video as short as I can. Just for this particular tensioner. Let's see. Okay, there's that. No, it's actually, that's a 14. There's 15. Okay, there's a 15 there. And I believe the back one's a 15 too. Let's check it see real quick here. Actually, it's a little bit bigger. It's more like it's probably an 18. We'll find out real quick. And there's an 18. Yes, so the back one apparently is a 18. Is that right? That says 16. It's got to be a 15. Now, come on. Let's try this one more time. Back. Yes, it's a 15 too. Okay. So 15 does fit that back there. So we're good there. And a 15 here. So we'll go ahead and take these bolts out. I'll put the camera down. We'll pop these off. Now on this front bolt, you see there's a nut in the back. It has a 15 on it there. It's a 15 bolt. Nut there, you may have to put something back there. So I'm going to have to put the camera down and put a nut on. I'll put a wrench on there and take that off. Hold that. And the other one on the back side there, I was telling you about the 15 socket that fits on that other nut. You don't have to worry about that. It should come right off. So let me go ahead and take that off real quick. Now I got my 2 bolts out of my alternator. They are sitting right here. One's a really long one with a 15 stud right there. And this is a 15 nut and a stud on the back of that. So what I do now, we have a plug on the back of this alternator. It's kind of hard to grab it by your thumb there, but right there there's a little tab. You zoom in there, see that little tab right there? It takes a little fiddling. If you push it hard enough, it'll come out, it'll release that, and you can pull up on it. Oh, there it is. There's your plug. You see how that tab is right there? If you push hard on it, right there, it moves, and it releases that. So I'll put that off to the side. Now all I gotta do, there's a 10mm bolt right there on your main wire. Take that off, and we'll fish this alternator out of there. So let me set the camera down, I'll take that bolt out. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take this nut off. Take very special care, do not lose this nut. Lose this nut. Because a lot of times when you're taking stuff off, the nut will get stuck in your socket, and you'll drop it, and you can't find it. So, very important that you don't lose that. What I like to do, I'll put it off to the side, set it right there, maybe for a second, take this wire off. Push that wire off to the side and put the nut back on the alternator. Kind of tighten it up a little bit so you don't lose it. There we go. And there we go. That alternator is ready to come out. Now the trick is I've got to fish it out through this area here. Sometimes you got to turn it. It'll eventually come, but it's tight. Just make sure you got your gas line off and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and fish this out of here real quick. That was fun. Took me about 2 minutes to fish that out of there. Got this hose here that's in the way. Freon hose for the air conditioning stuff. But I did get it out. There it is. Like I said, you have to wiggle it, spin it until you figure out which way's best. And I got the 2 bolts over here for the alternator. Now, a piece that we're taking off, the tensioner for the serpentine belt, is right there. You're saying, well, I still got a lot to do. No, not really. There's a way to get into that bolt and pop that right off without getting underneath of it and cussing and getting grease. Because if you look there, if you haven't worked on one of these, you're like saying, how do I get that bolt out? There's no way. Well, there is. The nut you got to get to in the back, right behind this top of this bracket there. See that? Stick your hand right behind there, and you can feel that nut down there. What I do, I take a socket and my ratchet. I put my 15 back on there. If I can find my 15 real quick here. And I drop it down in there like this in the back. You can see how I'm doing. And you got to take one hand, fill the nut, and drop the socket down in there and start loosening that nut loose. So let me go ahead and see if I can go ahead and take this off real quick. I really don't have a way to set the camera where you can watch, but I'll go ahead and take this off and show you how it comes out real quick, and you'll get the idea. Okay, I got my wrench on there. I took my glove off and put my other hand down in there and felt where that nut was. Now I got my socket up here, and I'm going to go ahead and break it loose, if you can see this or not. There, it broke loose. And you can see it starting to come off already. That's how that comes off. You just got to put a 15 socket on there and get your little ratchet and it'll break loose. And you want to pull back this way to break it loose. So I'm going to have to take my glove off and put my hands in there and go ahead and take that off real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, I got the nut off. There it is. And there is the tensioner. Stupid light. Maybe you can see it there. I'll go ahead and pull this off. It's a pretty long bolt on the back out there. There we go, it's off. And this is it. That's all you got to do. Now, what gets bad on these, if you look right there, see that crack where my thumb is? This whole thing moves back and forth a little bit, and it wears down, and the wheel starts to set sideways, and it causes the belt to ride off the pulley. Now, you're asking, why am I taking it off tonight since my new one's not here yet? Well, because like I said, I'm going to go ahead and tear off the whole front of the car and put a new front seal in it. But I did want to show you, you just basically put it back in reverse order, and you can see that bolt's pretty long. So you can get your hand back in there. All you got to do is start that nut on there, and use your socket, tighten it back up, and you've got this little nipple there that goes down there, and I'll shine the light there real quick, and you can see where it goes. Right there's the little hole for the nipple, right there. And you just put it back on, and put your alternator stuff back on, and you're good to go. So I'll show you tomorrow when my new one comes in. I got a new one on eBay, a brand new one coming. I believe it was only 35 bucks or something. Should be here tomorrow, but that's going to be replaced. So that's the end of the video for now. I'll give you a quick picture tomorrow of the new one, and hopefully this video will help you guys out, because I know a lot of Caravans have this problem. Just if you hear one squeaking, more than likely this is the problem. Like I said, it's a pretty easy fix. And here is my brand new tensioner. Just came today. And as you can see, it rides straight up and down. It doesn't have that big gap there in it, so the pulley doesn't go sideways. So it's in. You see how long the back of this is. It's got a very long bolt on it, so it's pretty easy to put in. So that's all you got to do. You bolt this back in there, like I said, and tighten it up. Put your car back together, and you should be pretty good. Should be pretty good to go. I'm not going to make a video on how to put this back in, because obviously if you take it apart, you can put it back together. I want to keep my videos as short as I can, because it takes forever to upload these on my 3 megs of internet that I pay for. I'm cheap, I know.